Let's make some miniature heart-shaped macaroons from polymer clay. And welcome to my channel, Notorious Crafts, where I hand make all sorts of dollhouse miniatures. To make these, you will need some polymer clay, and I'm using some from the brand Sculpey, and I'm going to use the colors purple, pink, and red for Valentine's Day, but you can choose any color you want. I'll be using the silicone mold to get the shape of the heart macaroons. I also have all the links to the supplies down below in the description. I'll be using this white liquid polymer clay for the filling of the macaroons. I'm wearing some rubber gloves to protect my hands since the polymer clay really dries out my hands and some of the darker colors like red can stain my skin. I first conditioned the clay by just warming it up in my fingers, and this helped soften up the clay since it's very hard when you first take it out of the packaging. Pinched out a small amount of the clay, and now I'm just pushing it into the heart-shaped mold. Use my fingers to remove some of the extra clay. You can use some tools if that is easier. And then I flipped the mold over and checked to make sure that the mold was fully filled out and that there weren't any air bubbles on the inside. And then I used just one of my clay tools to remove some of the extra clay that was hanging out on the top. Now is the tricky part where I try to remove the clay from inside of the mold without destroying the heart shape that I created. And that looks absolutely perfect. Now I'm going to make a whole bunch more of these. For each of the macaroons, I'm going to have to make 2 of these little tiny cookies. You can also bake the clay inside of the mold, but that is going to take a really long time if you want to make a lot of these. I am taking them out of the mold while the clay is still wet, and it is very easy to mess up the clay and to put some indents in it accidentally. So I'm going to make a lot more in case some of them aren't as perfect as the others. And now I'm moving on to the purple clay, and I'm just repeating the same exact process as I did with the pink clay. I'm also going to make some red ones since these are going to be Valentine's Day themed. After making a whole bunch of these little tiny heart-shaped macaroons, I'm going to pop them in the oven to bake so that they can all harden. Here are the hearts after I took them out of the oven and after letting them cool. They are fully hardened, and I'm ready to start putting some of the liquid polymer clay in between them. But first, I'm going to match them up and make sure that the shapes also match each other, and they pretty much should. Sometimes taking them out of the mold distorts the shape, but for the most part, they all match. I'm using a toothpick to apply the white liquid polymer clay on one side of the macaron, and I'm using a toothpick just to be able to control the liquid clay so it doesn't go all over the edge. And I'm grabbing a second macaron and I'm just gently placing it on top. You don't want to squeeze it so that the liquid polymer clay doesn't come out on the other side. I placed that one macaron in the oven to bake, and I just did one to test out to see if that was the right amount of liquid polymer clay. I was nervous that it might spill over while baking, but that was perfect. I don't have spillage on the other side of the macaroon, so I'm going to do the same thing on all the other macaroons now. Next, I'm going to make some of the purple macaroons. I really love the color combination of white and purple. I think it's a better contrast than the pink ones, and I'm sure the red ones will look really great too. And these tiny macaroons are really hard to hold on to. I was trying to use my nails to hold on to them while spreading the liquid white polymer clay. I think next time I might use some tweezers just to hold on to them because the macaroon kept sliding all around my surface. And then once I'm done, I'll place all of these in the oven to bake so that the liquid clay can harden. And here's the final result. I placed them on a stack of plates. I tried to make it look like a tiered tower of macaroons. I bought these plastic plates online in like a large set, and so underneath are just the bowls underneath the plates to create some height. I am absolutely obsessed with how these little heart-shaped macaroons turned out. They are just adorable. They look good enough to eat. I wish I knew how to make real macaroons. At least I was able to make these little tiny ones from clay, and they are an adorable decoration to have in a miniature dollhouse. I'm going to put these into my Valentine's Day themed diorama. I really love how the red ones look with the contrast between the white and the red. It is much harder to see the white filling on the pink ones since the pink color is just so light. And you can see it on the purple ones. I think next time I'll try to do some different colored filling instead of just doing white. Overall, they were pretty easy to make. The longest part just took taking them out of the mold and then some time for baking them. Let me know what you guys think of how these turned out, or if you have any recommendations and tips and tricks how to make these. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.